everyone. Hi everyone, this is Ren from Strong Girls Knits, and I am here to review a couple of McCall's costume patterns. So this year for Halloween, I actually managed to sew everyone's costumes, well, all the kids, so 4 costumes in total, and 2 of them were McCall's patterns, so I wanted to review them and show the costumes off as well. Now, the first one, we'll just do an easy one, was McCall's Costumes M7675, and it was the kid size, so it's a simple thing. Libby, my eldest girl, number 2, she wanted to be a tiger, and I actually had found a simplicity pattern that was like specifically like a tiger costume, you know, animal costume, but all they had were adults, and I was like, maybe I can swing this. Brought it home, it was just way too big, I couldn't use it, so went back to the store, bought another pattern, and the best one I could find was this one. So it actually has just kind of a different breakdown of stuff. I will show you the back. So you've got, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sorry, 5 different kind of versions you can do. But of course you can always do it as you want. And this is a learn to sew pattern, so very simple. I felt the directions were pretty good. I think there's one part, and maybe I was bad, I'll be honest, be 100% honest. It was such a simple pattern, and I've been sewing for quite a while, and I just kind of like put the pieces together and only referred to a couple things to figure out how they wanted it done. But anyways, it was written pretty well. I didn't really go past the basic, because the basic thing is just this jumpsuit, and then pretty much you can make these different head pieces, or, you know, add like feet, if you can see it, add like little feet to it. And I think, yeah, this is all like, the head pieces are completely separate. And then of course there's tails. Now, as I said, Libby wanted to be a tiger. And then I just took the basic bodysuit and made her pretty much like a onesie, which out of this flannel tiger material, tiger print that I've had forever. So that was a plus, because I literally didn't, besides buying the pattern, which I don't really count, I paid nothing for her costume, which was pretty awesome. But yes, has a simple neck piece, which I need to ask her because if she would like to keep it, because it has a seam right down the middle, or down the middle of the front, and of course in the back where you put the zipper. What I can do is pretty much take the zipper out and switch it and put it up here, and then just move the neckband around. So if she wanted it. Anyways, it's cute. I mean, I'm going to put pictures in at the end of the 2 patterns I could talk about today. But just really simple flannel, and we tend to have chill Halloweens here. So she was nice and warm. She did wear some stuff under it. I had enough room for that. And I think she was pretty much able to zip it all up. And here is the tail. Now, this pattern does come with a tail for theirs, but I really didn't like it. It wasn't very tiger-ish. I don't know, I just didn't like it, so I didn't use it. What this literally was like a scrap piece from like where I'd cut, because what you do when you cut it out, you cut 2 sleeves, and then there are 2 front pieces, and then 2 back pieces. So very simple, and then of course the neckband. So in total, let's see, just for the jumpsuit, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you do this all folded, you only have like 4 pieces to cut. And maybe with the sleeves, I might have cut them separately, not on a fold, just to like try and save fabric, because when you cut the body pieces, you do have this kind of where, I can't even think, but let's say you cut it, and then where you have the fold, you have all this extra fabric that when it's folded over, you can't do much, but if you unfold it, you can get like 1 sleeve, and I'm pretty sure that's what I did. Like, just with that excess fabric there, I was able to cut it, and then I have a yard of this left over, so I'm probably gonna make someone like PJ something, shorts, capris. Maybe it's for a little person, I can probably still get a full pants, but we'll see. Anyways, this was really quick. I did this in a couple hours. I mean, one night, I'll be honest, one night I sat and cut it all out while watching the World Series, and then like no, it wasn't. It was the Wednesday, so a week beforehand, I just took my time and whipped it all off, and that was that. So I did not try and pattern match, but I feel like it's so busy you can't really tell. So, and I was really proud of this. I did like it. So I would give I mean, it's great for beginners, and it's so simple that if you're an experienced if you're an experienced sewer, you could probably just use it as a base and make whatever. So I don't know, and it does give you different options. I almost did cut out this belly piece because I had some like cream colored fabric that would have looked cute as like a tiger belly, but I don't know, I was kind of running out of time, and then I got to it. I couldn't find the fabric the day I finished this, and I was like, I don't care. She doesn't need it. And she didn't care. She was happy. So, anyways, oh, and with the tail, what I actually did do is I put everything in, but I'm trying to think. No, I had everything seamed or sewn up. Then I had her try the bodysuit on, and I've placed where I wanted the tail because I didn't want to place it too low or too high. And then I just went back and unstitched where I wanted to put the tail and sewed it back up. So, easy peasy. Now for this next one, which I'm actually very proud of, it cost way too much money and a lot of time, but I'm very proud of myself. This is McCall's 7646, and it's one of the, oh, I can't, Yaya Han designer, but it's supposed to be like the guy from Assassin's Creed, which they do have this one for males, and then they have like a female version as well. This is what Jimmy wanted to be. And I was going to try and make it exactly to this, but Jimmy asked for it to be black. So I took with that, and which was nice because this fabric right here, the synthetic leather that they do sell at, at Joann's, is $40 a yard, regular price, and it really didn't get much cheaper than that. And even if I could get 50% off, I was not going to spend $20 a yard on it. You know, maybe if you're really into cosplay and like you have the time and means for that, but with a Halloween costume I was not going to do it. So what I opted for, we'll start with the hood, was this like reptilian, I think they call it like crocodile or alligator skin. Very cheap. It was part of the, I think part of one of the Halloween collections or something like that fabric. I got it super cheap, and very proud because I bought 3 yards of it. That's why if you think about the synthetic leather, do not want it. But, or I didn't want to buy 3 yards of that at that price, because when I went and bought all of this, it was only 30% off. So, still a lot of money. This though, I got like super cheap. I want to say I got this like 60% off, so like maybe $5 a yard. And I have at least, I think, over a yard left, so I want to make myself something. So we'll see. But so here's the hood, and I made it with black stretch or black linen because that's what the pattern called for, and it has a bit of a stretch. I think it had like a 30% stretch. So I'm gonna put this on because I blow out the camera. So what it is. It buttons up right here, and then you just have the characteristic huge hood. Like that. However you wear it. Anyways, I actually had these buttons in stash. Oh, sorry. Which I thought they were just kind of cool. And then, yeah. Oh, I did buy some of this. So I did have to pay, I bought some of that, but I actually did have some in my stash, which I used on the belt. So I'm pretty sure I used it on the belt. I don't know, I used it elsewhere. So anyways, this, let's go into detail a bit with this, because there's a lot of layers. The pattern was pretty well written, but it was a little, I almost wish it was colored, like color, so I could see exactly where each piece is going and whatnot. And they don't have a lot of pictures in the packet. But what I did find that helped was I went to McCall's website and pulled the pattern up because they have more pictures of the gentleman in the costume, which helped. And then they had a little bit more detailed photos, like the outline sketch, but I don't know. Anyways, so as I said, the big hood, which you actually, so you cut 2 pieces out, and then you have like this. It's probably hard to see, but there's kind of this section right here that kind of extends it out and makes it more droopy. And then have these. You have this top cape where you pretty much just have the applique, And then you have the bottom piece, which is all of this material, which I almost wanted this on top because I thought it was cool. And then, I think it actually wanted you, no, I think it was pretty much like a binding. I can't quite remember. I did modify this pattern a bit, to be honest, which the pieces I remember I will share. So but this I really don't think I modified it too much. So, as I said, applique, I think I did do the applique a little different than what they had suggested. And then, I think that's really it. The only confusing part with the hood was this neck piece. That was a little hard to kind of figure out. I didn't use as much interfacing for this entire pattern. I really didn't use as much interfacing as it called for. So because this linen was pretty stiff, so if you have a stiff material, you probably really don't have to use as much interfacing to stabilize it and whatnot. So, but anyways, this one I was super proud of. Like, this piece out of the entire thing I'm probably most proud of. But yeah, so there's that. Let's move on to like the simpler pieces of this. This is, so you have this long sleeveless tunic that makes the, sorry, so you have like a long sleeveless long tunic that kind of creates these flaps right here. And then you have another tunic that's shorter, but just as long sleeves. So I don't know, I didn't know how, I told Jimmy, he's like, I don't know what goes on first, you put whatever on. And then, so I didn't know if the long sleeves were supposed to go under the long tunic or vice versa. And I don't know, it's probably true to the character's design, but I didn't understand why you couldn't just slightly modify it and put the long sleeves on the long tunic and just had it all, so you didn't have all these layers. So he had like a couple layers on his chest, which is fine I guess when it's cooler, but it's a lot of fabric. I bought 6 yards of this and I think I only have a half a yard left. This was the most expensive bit, was the linen. Oh my goodness. Anyways, so I did modify this one pretty much. It's just a simple long sleeve shirt pretty much, which this was like super long on Jimmy, but we just pretty much pulled it up in like the gauntlets that you make with the pattern to secure it. Anyways, the neck piece was supposed to be kind of like a keyhole cutout with a whole bunch of, like you're supposed to have like another cutout thing. Yeah. It was like, I got to it, I was a little confused. I didn't want to put that much effort into it, which was just going to be covered up by the hood. So I didn't do the little cutout thing. I didn't apply interface to it. I just simply did the neckband that it did call for and stitch it in. And then of course did the sleeves. Now the thing with the sleeves, you have this piece under the armpit, which, so there's the armpit. I don't know if you can see this seam right here and right here. So pretty much you just have this strip to extend the arm, which it looks cool. Like if you could see it as a design element, it was pretty nice. I wasn't able to perfectly match my sleeve in. I didn't do a lot of markings though, so I couldn't, it's not like I had the markings to match it up, so that was bad on me. And then you do have like this triangle piece under the armpit on the abdomen part to again help with that extension. I don't know if that was just to make it baggier because his clothing is kind of baggy, but I don't know. So I did modify the neckline on this, and the armpits with the extra bit on the sleeve was a bit of a pain in the butt, but really not that bad. And like I said, I did stretch because I don't think this had a zipper. The long tunic, the sleeveless long tunic, had a zipper on it, and because of the stretch material, which I highly suggest, I was able to completely avoid putting a zipper in because he was able to get it on. So, the more you know. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the long tunic. Nope, here it is. So, the pattern called to put binding around the sleeves and the neckline. I just folded it over and went from there. I'm sorry for the blow up, but that's what's going to happen with this black fabric. So, and then extremely long, but very simple because you literally just have 4 pieces because it is cut. You know, you cut out the 2 front pieces and the 2 back and seam it on the sides and the centers. So this was pretty easy. I got this done fairly quickly. It wasn't hard on the sewing machine. And then you have a split because like your legs, this is like extra ninja-like fabric. I don't know. I don't really know much about Assassin's Creed. I've seen my son play it and that's about it. So anyways, you have it, the fabric, and it is seamed all the way down the side. But then the center, you have to figure out like how deep you want it, and then you just hem it all the way around the sides and then hem it in the center where it's splitting. I did have Jimmy try it on because I just like kind of sewed so far down. I was like, I'll try it on. Either I'll have to sew more or I have to seam rip it back. And actually what I did, my guess was pretty spot on, and it worked out perfect for him. So this is probably the easiest piece, especially if you, oh, like I said, this called for a zipper, but because it was stretch material, it didn't do the zipper, and I didn't do binding, so I just seamed it over. If you do that, it's super quick, super easy. You just have a lot of hemming, which after all the other stuff you're gonna do with this costume, you'll want to just hem. Anyways. Now, oh, here's the belt. I was pretty proud of this as well. Now, with this, it wanted you to make your own trim, which is this red here, and then it wanted you to make binding, which I'm sorry, but I'm too lazy, especially after trying to make 4 costumes. I am too lazy to do binding. It's horrible to make. Anyways, had this nice stuff, but it wanted you to have trim because here's the lining, just the black stretch that I used, and then my crocodile material. And it wanted you to make that trim so you could pretty much just lay these together, wrong sides together, and then just have the trim encasing it around. To simplify it, simply what you can do is stitch it with the right sides together on 3 of the 4 sides. So I stitched it all together except for this top part, and then flipped it out, made sure creases and everything were good, like the corners, and then simply sewed it to the belt. And didn't do anything fancy. That's kind of raw edges. I did do a line to kind of close it, and then attached it with another seam, and then simply kind of stitched over again to secure it. So pretty simple. I did that for all 4. Oh goodness. And then, like I said, it wanted you to make your own binding and then kind of twist the binding. I didn't quite understand the twisting, and I didn't understand how it worked, so I just did simple binding, which I thought turned out really well. Oh, and then again for the center strip, so this is its own separate piece, and then the center strip is another piece. It wanted you to use that trim to, again, put the back side and the front side together, wrong side, and then use it to encase it. So again, what I did, 3 sides, I left, what side did I leave open? Sorry. So this end piece, because it goes all the way down, and then you have your nice little bitch right here at the end. I left this open but sewed all the rest of it closed, flipped it out, and did what I needed, and then stitched it over here, did a closing thing up here, so it's just completely encased, and that was that. Oh, and then it did want you to put like a toggle toggle like over here where you could use your strip that you attach to the end to wrap around it to close your belt. What I did is I have an extremely long bit of binding, and I think this was from my stash. It was like everything I had left and of like one long continuous piece, and I was like, here Jimmy, do you want it short or do you want it long? So we can like double wrap it around you, and he wanted it long. So what we did was, excuse me. So we had it wrapped around. There's the end. Had it, well, we actually had it where the flaps were centered. So centered here and then centered on the back. And he actually put it on the other side, sorry. So put it over here and had it secure here. And then take one in the front, one in the back. Bring it back around and then tied it, which he and I are tiny enough. Probably could have went one more to go and then tied it. And then it gives that kind of, I just like the look of this hanging down. So, anyways. So, and again, I was very proud of this belt as well. A lot of modifications, just pretty much simplifying it. But, I don't know, I liked it. Oh goodness. And so far, the instructions on all of these were pretty clear. Like with the cape, that inner neck piece that makes it kind of up high was a little confusing to read. I had to sit and read through it a couple times, which is fine. You should always do that. and then I got it, or kind of like figured it, like how my brain was like, do this. So I tried it, and thankfully how my brain was interpreting it worked out. So alright, for the last piece, which overall I'm just really proud of this costume. I've already told Jimmy I will take him to some cons if he wants and whatnot, so, but, oh, I have this wrong. This one was heavily modified, to be completely honest. I didn't like all the extra pieces she had, and I didn't really see how they were very relevant. So here's the gauntlet. Again, I made two. And it has the black linen lining. So you have this little flat piece, the part that's on your arm, and then of course straps. What the pattern called for was actually buttons and buttonholes, so you would secure it. But Jimmy is younger. He's 13 years old. His arms are pretty slender, so if we would have buttoned it, which we could have, it still would have been really gappy, and I'd be afraid of it falling down. So I added this cool, or what I added some binding strips to pretty much go with the entire costume, and used it so we would secure it, and then one side around, you know, pretty much just like what we did the belt, and then secure it on the opposite side. Now there is supposed to be this gusset part that actually connects the flap to the body of the gauntlet. I didn't quite understand it. It was a little confusing. Again, it was one of those moments I wish everything was color coordinated and broken down better so I could fully understand the lay of it. But I guess it was pretty much just kind of like because what you did was gathered it, so it was all kind of crunched up, and I think it was just a way to kind of give more dexterity. So, but with this, I mean, I really didn't see much of a problem. It stayed on for him, so, and it covered his hands. Like, I feel like any more it would have been a bit too much. And then I think I did different, oh yeah, so this is just elastic, and the thing, it actually has you like cut out pattern, or like cut out from like the linen fabric to make it, and then you like adjust and cut. So I thought that was kind of a waste, to be honest. If you feel comfortable with it and feel like you can get away with it for your costume, I suggest elastic and in a color to match your stuff, because you really don't see it. I mean, it's just right here, and you can tighten it. So we could have even probably tightened that just a bit more to secure it, and then you probably wouldn't even see it. So there's elastic. I did cheat on that, and it was kind of confusing how they wanted to piece it together. So it's actually, this end where like it's kind of visible to the world is actually tucked into the material, and then with this bit it's just stitched directly on. Now these guys I put on the inside and turned it inside out. And oh, so what I did was I did this flap, did it right sides together, sewed, and then flipped it out, and then put it on this guy right sides together. So it was folded like this when I had the right sides together. Stitched all the way around, and then like up here is where I turned it out, and then took, you can't really see it, but on the top I did this line of stitches, and on the bottom along here I did the same thing, and then along the flap I did do a line of stitches just to secure it down. But yeah, that was the gauntlet, and we did use it, like I said, the sleeves were like really long on Jimmy, and I think it was supposed to kind of be baggy, so we pushed the sleeves up to where like he wanted it, and then used it to secure the sleeve in place with the gauntlets. So, but yeah, it was pretty good. I don't know, it was a challenge, but I really enjoyed it, and I got to mess with fabric. Actually, I've never really messed with linen, and certainly have never messed with this kind of material. So it felt like, for me, it was like a level up kind of thing. Like I learned a new experience for messing with this fabric, which this stuff was pretty good quality. I think it looks cool. I actually feel like you could kind of make like a faux kind of reptilian miniskirt or dress with it, and it would look pretty cool. And again, it's pretty inexpensive. I think full price this stuff is $15 a yard. This linen, though, was ridiculous. I didn't quite realize how expensive linen was. I think this as well was like $15 a yard full price. So, and of course it was the stretch linen as well. That's a big suggestion for like the shirt and the tunic, I definitely suggest a stretch material, just so you don't have to deal with a zipper. But, and I feel like that's more authentic, because this little assassin guy, and it always seems like he's in old-timey stuff, you know, they wouldn't have zippers for that. An assassin. Anyways, I'm just trying to justify what I did. The pattern was pretty good. There were some pieces that I didn't quite feel were detailed enough for the instructions, and like I said, I wish there had been more almost like color layout, because this pattern was kind of difficult in a sense. But again, if you get stuck on that, definitely pull up the McCall's website and look at the pattern there, see if any of that helps you, like it had for me. But yeah, I don't know, really proud of this pattern. I kind of want to make it again, just to do it again with some different stuff. Not that synthetic leather though. And then the tiger costume, I'm definitely going to keep that pattern, because I'm sure until the kids grow out of the pattern, because Libby, so I did the largest size, so I got those are the pattern sizes, so pretty much 3 through 8, and I did the 7/8 size for Elizabeth, and she wears like size 10, sometimes size 12 clothing, so if that helps you. This one is only in adults, so like male adults, which I think the smallest one was like a chest of 38. Yeah, I think so. Oh, there's another tip. When you're having to constantly refer back, keep everything in a baggie. But yeah, so I think chest-wise, the smallest on this was 38. It was a little loose on Jimmy, but I really didn't mind that. I felt like it gave, yeah, so a chest width of 38. And this one, so there's 2 different sizes. This goes up to 44, and then you can buy the other one, which is 46 to 52. But yes, yeah, okay. Anyways, but so this was for an adult, which Jimmy is taller than me at this point, still very slender. You know, he's 13, going on 14 soon. But I don't know. I mean, it's what he wanted. They only had it in smaller men's size, and I feel like it did fit him pretty well. And it's even loose enough that if, let's say you were female, my size, you could get away with it too. But as I said, they do have a female-specific kind of Assassin's Creed pattern as well. So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what else to say, but I did really enjoy these patterns. I highly suggest them. The Easy Sew I suggest, and if you're wanting to do this Assassin's Creed costume, definitely go for it. I feel like it's definitely worth your time. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for stopping by. If you enjoyed it, please like the video and then leave a comment if you have any questions. Commenting and liking the video does help promote it so others can see it. And again, if you enjoy, subscribe wherever it is. Subscribe, and yeah, you can check back with me later. I am going to do a costume review of the other 2 that I did, and yeah. So, bye guys!